Welcome to This is Social Work, a podcast from the Specialist Regulator for Social Workers, Social Work England. Hosted by our very own regional engagement leads, and together with people with lived and learned experience of social work, we'll be exploring the social work profession in more depth.
Hello, I'm Kate Metcalf. I'm the Regional Engagement Lead for the South of the country at Social Work England, and I'm also a registered social worker. Today, I'm joined by Philip Hallam, Executive Director of Regulation at Social Work England, to talk about the importance of regulation for social work. So, Phil, I'm just going to come straight to you and ask, can you reintroduce yourself? Tell us a bit more about who you are and what you do.
Thanks, Kate. Good morning. I'm Phil Hallam. I'm the Executive Director for Regulation here at Social Work England. I've been here for a few years now since Social Work England came into existence. I have a background in professional regulation, so I know a bit about the importance of regulating different kinds of professions, I suppose. So here I'm responsible for the teams that look after the register and the teams that deal with complaints about social workers, as well as some of our sort of back office functions like information governance and legal.
Wonderful. Thank you for that. And we're just here today having a chat about the importance of regulation. What, for those listening and who might be coming to this fairly fresh, what would you say, what would be an explanation of professional regulation? What is it?
I suppose for me, professional regulation, so the regulation of individual people rather than systems and organizations, is about sort of helping that profession, so individual, in this case, individual social workers, demonstrate to the people that rely on them, but also to the people sort of beyond that, the public, that social workers on the register, maintain their skills, their knowledge and experience, such that people that use those services, but also all of us in society, can have confidence that the people on the register, social workers, have sort of performing in a way that everyone should expect. So, the profession itself should expect that from each other, but also, as I say, the public, which is a big word, but, society, looks to certain professions and, whether it's social workers or lawyers or doctors, and says, nurses, and says that, the work that you do is of such importance to society that we have to wrap some extra sort of protection around it. And for social workers, for example, that's about professional standards.
Yeah, great answer. And the title of social worker being a legally protected title, tell us a bit more about that. What does that mean for someone who doesn't know?
So it means really that, again, that, so the register is a way of saying to the world, these people and these people alone have the skills and knowledge and experience to do the job that society sort of said is really important. So in this case, social work. And the protection of the title is therefore a way of saying, and therefore only those people on this list, on the register, can use that title. So when, someone is presenting themselves as a social worker, when they're working with a family or with a person, that person can go, yep, that's definitely a social worker because they're on the register. And if someone else isn't on the register, then they can't be a social worker.
Yeah, nice and clear. So, and it's pivoting around the register, really, isn't it?
Yes, I mean, the register, I remember many years ago, one of the chief medical officers described the register as the sort of the heart of professional regulation and the heart of public protection. And I really do believe that, actually, because, it is a way of saying these people and these people alone have gone through the relevant training, but also continue to sort of keep their skills and knowledge up to date. And, by meeting the professional standards, that they can demonstrate to the public that they're sort of capable of safe and effective practice. So the register sits at the heart of everything.
Yeah, it's kind of the beating heart of all of it, isn't it? And good to sort of be touching on that bit, because some people listening might still be a bit confused about the difference between being a member of a body, a professional membership body, and a regulated registered professional. Can you clear that up a bit for those listening?
I can try, and as with all professions, it's quite a complex set of different organisations and different aspects of the work that all sort of link together. And professional representation or membership bodies are really, really important too. And obviously, their role, from my point of view is more about helping the profession represent itself to the public, and making sure that those that need to understand the role of the profession in terms of its representation, that's made explicit, I suppose, really, so that I understand that the role of representation is there to act in the interests of social workers. As the regulator, we have an interest in that too, of course, in making sure that social workers and their work and their standards are promoted, are they maintained, that confidence in them is maintained. But our role is slightly different. I wouldn't say our role is to represent the public, but our role is to act on behalf of the public, to do all those things I sort of alluded to a little bit earlier about, helping develop and maintain professional standards and holding a register so that the public and social workers together can ensure that there is, adequate public protection for members of the public by those who are on the social work register.
And would it be fair to say that we're there for the public? We're not there for social workers, are we, as a regulator? We're definitely there for the public, just to clarify that.
Indeed, yeah. Our role is, and it's a big phrase, but our role is to protect the public.
Yeah.
And the things we do are all aimed towards that. So while we want to do that, and we really try very hard to work in collaboration with social workers and those that represent them and the whole sort of system around social work to do that, our role is very heavily focused on the protection of the public.
Brilliant. Any sort of final thoughts on the necessity of regulation, its impact, and its force for good?
I mean, I have worked in regulation now for quite a while. I've regulated different kinds of professions, and I've seen lots of different things around, regulation. And I genuinely do think it is a force for good. It can sometimes feel, I imagine, if as a professional, as a social worker, that the regulator is quite distant from you.
Yeah.
But it's really important that even though that might be the case, because, for the vast majority of people on the register, their interaction with us, hopefully, will be about maintaining their registration and demonstrating to us and beyond us to the public that they maintain, their skills and knowledge through doing, for example, their CPD.
Yeah.
But regulation then beyond that is a way of saying to the public, this profession is so important that we have to wrap some safeguards around it. And we are there to make sure those safeguards are enforced, but they're also fair and they're transparent and they apply consistently to all kinds of social workers on the register, no matter what their practice is. So I think it's a real public good.
Yeah. And lastly, just can you speak a little bit to the relationship that we have with social workers? Because as a specialist regulator of social work, we only regulate that profession, and consequently we have some form of relationship with every individual person on the register, don't we?
We do. And I think, as I sort of said, it can be quite hard sometimes for the regulators to have a sort of, a personal relationship with 105,000 people.
Yeah.
But we do try really hard, and we've tried really hard since we came into existence to try and communicate effectively with individual social workers when we need to. For example, when it's time to renew their registration or it's time to submit to us evidence of their CPD. But more importantly, trying to communicate through methods like this, but also through all of the sort of the work that our teams do to try and help the social work profession to understand a bit more about why they are regulated and the importance of being regulated and the things they need to do, and try maintaining the balance in the things that we communicate and the things that we do between being sort of proportionate, but also keeping really focused on that idea that we are here to demonstrate to the public that social workers are capable of effective practice.
And that being registered and regulated is part of your professional identity as a social worker.
Very much that, indeed, exactly that. That is really, really important for us. Sort of that public protection element, but also that professional identity element as well.
Well, that's been brilliant, Phil. Thank you for joining us on the
Not at all.
podcast today, and hope to speak to you again soon.
Thanks, Kate.
Thanks to Phil for joining us today. And if you've enjoyed this podcast, you can find more within This Is Social Work on our website at Social Work England.